Awesome. Get out of the way of this. Hi, my name is Matthew Lindsay Payne. I am one of the two co-directors for Garbage Quest, whose full name is like Super Bros Adventure 6 Garbage Quest DX. We'll call it Garbage Quest. What is this? This is an interactive video game experience. What it's about, it is about how profit-seeking deprives people of rewarding life and community. What it also is really, really fun and goofy and very silly. This show's got dancing, fighting, comedy, improv, tragedy, and hopefully really ridiculous hair. And beats, because it is a show about a video game in which the audience comes to kind of like play the game from their seats. Ave and I are primarily working with the actors. We've got a bunch of meetings coming up. We're doing some improv and table work with them this coming week. But the main thing we're going to focus with them on is spending time with the actors on building their characters, how to do on-the-fly world building, because the audience gets to suggest like, hey, here's the world you're in. Here's your backstory. Here's like a prop that you're going to use for this show. And they have to incorporate it all on the fly. And then finally, how to like work an audience. There's like a section where a particular character may or may not die, and we have to decide if the audience reses them back to life or not. It's going to be fun. And here's some of the video game inspirations that are inspiring us. Cool. Who's next?
Hi. Yes, so as Matt mentioned, let's talk about the name. So the full name of the show is Super Bros Adventure 6 Garbage Quest DX. That's just like for funsies. That'll be like on the poster and like maybe some official like documentation. Between us, we're probably just always gonna call it Garbage Quest, and that is totally fine. Production timeline. We just confirmed a venue like yesterday. So so some of the dates are still a little iffy. Next week we'll like lock them in for sure. The show is going to be in October. It's going to be contained within October. Strike might go like a little bit into November, and load in might go a little bit into September, but October. So Bit Crush Week is this coming week. That is like the first week of our department build, so the departments will talk about what they're doing and that kind of stuff. We have a couple panic builds, September 13th and 20th. They're Saturday extra builds that like we just like to tell about now, because they're kind of the final like,
oh shit.
The show is almost happening and we need to finish a bunch of things really fast. So put this in your calendar, get ready. Yeah, and then we'll get you these dates soon. Yes, venue, we just confirmed it's going to be the same place we did Ceremony of the Faceless, which is fun. It's a big, weird, empty space that we can kind of do a lot of fun stuff with. They've made a couple little changes to it, but we're going to work around it. Yeah, cool. Music, I don't think I like told you guys to do anything. There you are. Hi. Yeah, wave. Yay, music. The music is going to be done by the band Garbage Smasher, who's lovely. Video game metal stuff. We were listening to it before we started the meeting here. And I just wanted to talk about, real quick, Bitchin' Gamer Fest. Done by Bros. Very cool fest that we do every year. Garbage Smasher's in it. Cowabunga Pizza Time is the last show, so that's going to be a whole thing, so I recommend going. Costumes. Okay, someone try to click on the tiny play.
I'm gonna make it real big! So...
Oh!
Hold on. Maybe. It's gonna get lame. A second here. All right, where's the keyboard?
I have it.
Oh, okay.
Right here.
Great.
It
I'll race you.
Am I turning it up? It is up a little.
Yeah.
If you hit space, it should pause it.
Could you hook me up with the keyboard? No. Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Every show we take apart our whole tech setup and then we have to put it back, and then we don't quite realize that we put it back all the way.
Keep behind the scenes.
We're getting better at this.
Guerrilla Theater.
Check out Garbage Masher.
Yeah.
Their sweet album art. Okay. Alright, that same aux channel. Let's see if this works.
Hey, I'm Abby. I'm in charge of costume design for Garbage Quest. So, first up, we're gonna have so much fun on this show. We're gonna go with bright, fun, colorful, loud colors. We're gonna go with fun shapes. Just think of your classic video game, just like very exaggerated, dramatic, silly. It's going to be a lot of fun creating these costumes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look through the Bros headquarters costume archive, and we're going to see what already exists, because there are so many shows that have a lot of these elements. I can already think of some bright colors, fun shapes. If you walk in, you'll have an idea. There's so much in those bins. Let's go. We're also going to look at thrift stores and see if we can find any additional pieces there. And then once we've done all of that, we're going to go and we're going to create the pieces that we could not find in those places. So there are a lot of different ways that you can help. The first way is obviously looking at stuff. This is pretty easy, you don't need too many skills to do it, but a little bit of sense of design does help. Just show up, you see something that's a bright fun color or a nice soft texture. If you see something that fits the design theme, you can go for it. And then the second way that you can help is by helping to create these items. So for the things that we can't find in the archive or in a thrift store or in our own closets, we are going to sew, we are going to alter those things that we did find, we're going to hem, we're going to paint, we're going to add trim, we're just going to customize them for the show. And then we are also going to be doing some light crafting, some of the little accessories that are going to go over top of the code outfits. So I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the design concepts that I have. For the different characters, the named characters, we're going to have color schemes and vibes. So we have bright, fun, warm colors for player, friendly circles, stubborn squares. For rival, we have cool, mysterious colors, sharp, flowy, magical. For wise, we've got a classic wizard, little hat. Farmer, got overalls and a straw hat, pretty straightforward. For villain, we're gonna have a majestic cloak, giant shoulder thingies, and peeking out in the middle, there's gonna be a little suit and tie. I think that's gonna be really fun. And then the code, which are going to be pretty much every other character, we're going to have all black with lines of literal code or something that looks like it running across in bright colors. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. That's probably going to be where some fabric painting comes in. So if you don't feel comfortable with sewing, but maybe you're comfortable with painting, fabric painting is a particular skill, but I'm sure you can pick it up. And I'd be happy to teach you if it's not immediately obvious. So that's going to be the code costumes and then those accessories that I mentioned worn over top. And for the build schedule, it's going to be Thursdays from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. and additional time as needed. For example, if we're going to go thrifting, that's probably not going to be the ideal hours, but we will find time. But primarily Thursdays, 7 to 10 p.m. We're going to have a lot of fun with this, so I hope you'll come join us.
Yeah, so a little bit visual to go with that. This is the button for player, rival, and the code, and yeah. Costumes is good. Costumes is fun. Costumes can be kind of intimidating to people because everyone thinks they need to sew, and I promise there's so much stuff that isn't sewing that needs to be done for costumes, so definitely check it out. Sets. It's also
Hey everyone, my name is Emmett. I use he, him, his pronouns, and I'm the set designer for Garbage Quest. I'm sorry I can't be there in person today, but please message me on Slack if you have any questions or want to chat about anything in terms of getting involved in sets. I'm really excited to lean into the video game nostalgia with this show and incorporating the aesthetics of various video games and Easter eggs into the set pieces. So what is a set actually going to look like? Firstly, we want to really set the entire show in a video game and taking that very literally by surrounding the entire stage by a giant retro TV frame, and then having a giant retro console and game controller to the side, with the console doubling as the band stage. I also want to take advantage of the Lempira flats that we have from the last show and utilize that to make some additional flat scenery that can be pulled in for certain scenes to have some more interaction. So one of those will be the town on fire and having some fire effects that's hidden within those flats, as well as having some flats that can be both for the shop and the tavern, holding items, holding decorations, all of that sort of good stuff. And then on the flip side of all of these flats, I want to have the machine sort of looming in the background and on the sides of the set that sort of is these computer chip type surfaces that hold the machine tentacles that are these wires that are going to come out and entangle our heroes in the final battle. And then there's also some smaller set pieces that will have making things sort of blocky, pixely, having some cube seating. I think a lot about Minecraft having stumps or blocks around a campfire, a counter for both the shop and the tavern that maybe could be double-sided, that can hold some items or other sorts of things there. Like I mentioned before, we have the fire effects that we're going to have for one of the scenes, so I'm interested to play around with what we can do with that and have various items that are on fire. There are going to be office rolly chairs for one of the scenes, so that will be fun to put together to have our actors be able to roll around on those. And then a scene with a lot of sort of various video game obstacles as our characters are on their very first quest. This part in particular I think is really open-ended, so would love to have you all come in and design your own obstacles and what you want to incorporate into the scene there. So would love to have lots of help with sets. There's a lot to be done, and everyone is welcome. All skills are welcome. We're going to have set builds weekly starting on Thursdays, 7 to 10. Might add a Monday build a little later on, depending on how things go. And like I said, we need everyone, but especially looking for, if you're interested or have experience with scenery painting. This is something that is not my forte. I very much like to think of things structurally, so I'd love to have folks come in to help with bringing those structures to life, really making them colorful, fun, visually appealing, and fitting in with what Trevor's going to be doing with the pixel art design. Definitely need help with woodworking, so everything that we're going to be doing, we're going to be working with materials mostly that we already have in the shop, 2x4s, plywood, pretty basic chop sawing, drilling things together. So if you have experience with that, that's great. If not, we're going to be doing a beginner workshop for BitCrush Week, so come on in and learn. If you don't have any interest in doing sort of the woodworking or the construction aspect of things, we still need help with other things that are not that, so just general crafty things. There's a lot of moving parts that I have designed for this to make things modular and usable in different scenes, so definitely need creativity with making those work, and then some foam and paper mache and possibly some fabric work for some of those smaller set pieces that I mentioned. And then finally, would love video game lovers, aficionados, all of that to help me put in fun references into the set. Most of my video game experience is Mario and Minecraft, so please help me make references and video game aesthetics that are beyond just Minecraft and Mario. Thanks so much, and I look forward to working with you all.
So we have Pixels next. As Emmett alluded to, the whole back screen of our set is going to be projected pixel art animation stuff, which is cool. They're going to talk about it.
Hi everybody, my name is Trevor. You may recognize some of my previous work in recent Bros shows. I did the character animation of Sunny in A Computer That Loves, as well as the intro animation in Lempira. Very excited to be the lead pixel artist for Garbage Quest. The show is really ambitious with the level of audience participation it's incorporating, and it's really fun for us to help facilitate this through retro aiming backdrop. And that's what we're doing with the pixel art. We'll be creating backgrounds that will be projected behind the actors, scrolling along with the characters in their journey. We'll also be enhancing certain moments with spells, effects, and video game UI elements. Can you get the next slide? Here's some of the concept art that we're starting with, some of the creatures, some of the UI, some of the background ideas that we're going to be working with. Can I get the next slide? And here's a demonstration of how we'd like things to look for the show. Here is an oinklet. This is a creature from the script. We have both an 8-bit and a shaded 16-bit variation. Ideally, we like to get everything to be in this shaded 8-bit or 16-bit style, but we'll definitely be able to make sure that we get 8-bit. And then right here is an example of one of the scrolling backgrounds in action. Now, don't worry, they're not going to be this fast during the actual show. We don't want our actors to be out of breath or anything. But this is just to give you an idea of the parallax scrolling and everything we're going to have going. Can I get the next slide? And then, yeah.
So I'm Chris Eulinger. I'm going to be helping out on sort of the technical side of things for the pixel art with like the projection stuff, but also with, I am not an illustrator, but the thing that I can do is this kind of stuff. So basically, back in, when these games were coming out back in the 90s, they often didn't have enough space on the cartridge for like actual rendered animations, so they would make animations with math, kind of like these. So we'll be trying to integrate some of the style into some of the animations, the spells and whatnot. And we'll probably be like sort of compositing and putting these things together using CSS, JavaScript, and WebGL. So if you have any experience in any of those, Trevor will probably talk about that in a moment. So, yeah.
And can I go your last slide? Thank you. Now, these are the 3 primary ways that we can have people helping out. Now, I'm only one guy, so if you can help by creating some of the pixel art assets, for example, if you could create some of the rocks that are going to be falling when the dungeon is collapsing at the end, that will give me some time to maybe work on some of that parallax animation timing that I mentioned. In addition, if you're not, say, comfortable with making pixel art yourself, if you're someone who thinks that you can like better add the shading or refine some of the pixels, that can help us get to that goal of going from an NES game to some sort of Super NES game. And finally, with the animation. Now, we can always fall back on some of the techniques I've used in those previous shows I've explained before, but Chris also mentioned the idea of doing a lot of this in JavaScript, and having some of this stuff helped out, or having people pick up some of the work on those first 2 ends will free up more time for us to be working on that. In addition, like Chris mentioned, if you have expertise in JavaScript or programming and you can help us out with that, we would not shoo that away. And just as a final note, I know sometimes it can be hard to make it out to workshops and everything. Sometimes you just have a bad work schedule or something. So this is an option that you can maybe help out if say, most of the workshops that we have for props or sets or something are just not working with your schedule, but you have like an hour when you wake up in the morning where you could make that bush that's going to be scrolling in the field. That's a way that you can help out if you don't think you have the block of times that we have for the physical stuff. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's taking me a bit. Do I need to speak into the mic, or can I just be really, really loud? If you're the mic. Okay. Well, I have to sit down. Sorry about this, everyone. Okay, that's perfect. Hello. Okay, so we're here to talk about props now. I'm Kate. I go by she, her, and I'm the props lead for this show. And I'm also joined by my amazing props assistant, Cameron. They go by she, he, and they. And we're going to be the 2 people heading up all this. Next slide. So what are we doing? We are really, really excited about props for this show. It's one of like the really big main elements of the show. So if you think about video games, like we're gonna be doing all of those things, like the little stuff that's in them that's not the characters and the scenery and everything. So like we're gonna be making things like power-ups. We're gonna be making quest items. We're gonna be making some like practical spell attacks, which is gonna be really cool and fun. We're gonna be making magic stuff. We've got some really, really cool fun ideas for some like really silly iconic weapons. And we are also going to be making a shit ton of beats, which doesn't sound interesting, but I promise it is. Next slide. So what's our inspiration? First and foremost, first and foremost like 8-bit goodness. So, you know, things like Minecraft, Super Mario Brothers, Stardew Valley, like anything like that, where it's, you know, nice and blocky and funny. We're also going for big and goofy. You know, Bros does amazing shows like Lempira, where it's like the history of a nation and it's amazing and serious. But we also do just like stupid, goofy stuff, and that's the vibe we're really channeling here. And then, last but not least, we are looking to parody some of the classics, because who doesn't love that? Next slide. So here are some of our like initial concept designs for things like some magical effects, some of the practical spell attacks, some of the miscellaneous weapons we're gonna have. Next slide. These are 3 of our main weapons. These are our big like parody items. Toward the end, the player is going to be choosing a weapon to go and fight the big bad with. So we've got play on the energy sword from Halo, which is going to be the Master Pincher. Its special attack is pinching. We've got a parody of the Keyblade from from Kingdom Hearts, and it's going to be the Keychain Blade. Its primary spell attack or primary attack is tickling. And we've got a parody of the Buster Sword, of course, from Final Fantasy. I think its working name currently is the Bust-In Sword. It's also affectionately named the Chody Boy. And its special attack is thwapping. Next slide. So, who do we need? In short, we need you. Any and everyone who wants to come and help out. Do you know how to paint by numbers? We've got projects for you. Some more specific skills we're looking for, we're going to be doing a good bit of sewing, everything from like very beginner hand sewing to like some more intermediate stuff. If you don't know how to sew and you've always wanted to learn, we can absolutely teach you. We're going to have a lot of painting to do, and again, everything from like I can paint by numbers to like I went to art school and majored in painting. We're going to be cutting and building some things, a lot of stuff out of cardboard, but also maybe some wood, some like foam, other materials maybe, so that's going to be very helpful to have. General like artsy craftsy types, like do you know how to bedazzle? Great, we'll find a use for it. A secret level unlock is if anyone knows how to like knit or crochet or even weave. We've got some really fun like projects that aren't necessary but would be really fun to have. So if you have any of those skills, like please come talk to us, because you will make our dreams come true. And finally, and most importantly, just plain old enthusiasm and willingness to learn. Like if there's a skill that's going to be involved in this that you've always been like, I want to know how to do that, come, we will teach you, we will figure it all out. Next slide. So how to get involved? Well, we're going to be having 2 workshops a week because this is a very like heavy build. So we're going to have one on Tuesdays from 7 to 10 p.m. and then one on Saturdays from 1 to 4 p.m. We will always have snacks, so again, please come out. If you can't make it to workshops, we actually have a lot of projects that lend themselves really well to take-home projects, so that's another way you can get involved if you can't make it out to build. We're going to be sending out weekly newsletters, so if you want to keep up to date on like what we're doing that week, what we're looking for that week, etc., make sure to like talk to leadership people afterwards to get signed up for that. And if after all this you still have questions about any prop stuff, come talk to me, come talk to Cameron, come talk to leadership. We'll answer your questions, we'll assuage your fears, you tell us about your hopes and dreams, we'll try and make them come true. So thank you, everyone.
Alright, hello everybody. My name is Peter Turnbull. I go by he, they pronouns. I am the lit designer for this show. I am joined by Maggie, is one of my lit assistants over here, and Esther, who could not make it, but is also one of my lit assistants for this show. And if you're not familiar, just brief on lit, it does not actually stand for anything. It's still workshopping that, but anything that needs to light up, anything that's a prop, costume item, set piece, this one would light up, but I realized I broke the battery connector right as I walked in here. So, a lot of repair work happens with lit too. I'm gonna not blind people with this, but anyway, yeah. So distinct from stage lighting, but yeah, anything that needs to light up, smoke, catch fire, move, do cool things like that. That's lit's purview. We're often referred to as kind of the spec ops department, and I'm gonna tell you more about what we do, what we're excited about for this show, and how you can potentially get involved. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this show is, the fall show always kind of turns into an R&D show, for me personally anyway, in that we get to experiment a little more. So I'm personally really excited about more tightly integrating with QLab, which is our show control software that we use. And Maggie here has already made a demo, web-based voting system for our audience to potentially use. And so tying that all together with QLab and our lit effects and the pixel art elements that Trevor and Chris already discussed, tying that all together and really making it a truly interactive show for the audience is something I'm really excited about. And yeah, also again, all the choices that are being made in terms of weapons and outfits and stuff like that. I have some ideas about modular lit designing, and we're gonna have to be kind of clever about how we use our resources for this show. Smaller show, fall show. We do have a lot of leftover stuff from previous shows, and cleverly reusing that, but also maybe we don't use 3 microcontrollers for the 3 separate weapons. We use 1 microcontroller and it's able to move between the weapons, things like that. Anyway, so I'm excited about that. Yeah, and so my goal and our goal for lit has always been for lit to be accessible and possible for whoever wants to do it. Again, so we do a lot of work with electronics and code. That's not all that we do, but it is a big part of it. And if that sounds cool to you, but you've never done it before, please don't be scared. It's something that please come talk to us and say hi. We are happy to teach you. I'm really, really proud of the fact that on the past 3 shows that I've worked on, I think the majority of our volunteers were brand new to soldering and programming. Of course, we have some veterans at this point now, which is also really cool. But yeah, on every show that I've worked on with Bros, there has been several people that I have taught them to solder. I have taught them to program it with our Arduino boards, and they end up contributing to the show, and that's really, really cool. And I want to continue that. Yeah, and so our plans for Bit Crush Week are, we usually do something along these lines, so we kind of have a soldering 101 workshop, and so lit is often we're still kind of trying to decide exactly what our purview for this show is, and that, we know what could be lit. We're going to decide exactly what, is on our plate in the coming weeks, but we can still get started on making kind of the building blocks of what we'll use for those elements down the road. So that's what we're going to start with. And yeah, our workshops are scheduled currently for Tuesday nights, 7 to 10 p.m. We're probably going to add a second day, but TBD. Keep an eye on Slack. Slack is the best. Please use it. I think that slide's coming up. And yeah, thank you.
Hey y'all, we're Trish and Adrian, and we're the front of house people. Do you want to go with this?
Sure. Yeah, totally. So my name is Adrian, I use she, her. I can also vouch that Lit teaches you how to solder. I know. It's amazing. So front of house is something I am very legitimately super excited about, and I'm hoping we can pitch the vision for your involvement in it. There's so many different opportunities for volunteering, and this is a slightly different front of house than not every show, because there is a real pre-show component to Garbage Quest, and so we will be coordinating with Lit, and we will be working with a lot of the different teams to sort of figure out how the audience gets prepped for that and they integrate, and that will be something that will be happening not all the time, but we will be, if you're very interested in interacting with people, if you're very interested in interacting with how to set the audience up, This is going to be great. We have a lot of decorating to do. We sort of have a vibe that is kind of techie, kind of found technology from past times. We are also, if you have collections of old floppy disks, old CDs that you really don't care about, retro computer screens, CRT TVs, we are looking for that sort of stuff, and we have no budget. So if you have boxes of that kind of stuff sitting around, we're going to be using them as decorations, and we can discuss whether they'll be destroyed or not, you know, depending on how you care about them. And we are going to be building, there'll be some workshops that are not going to be weekly, but we are going to be meeting as needed basis. So do follow us on Slack, where we're going to be building wares using some of the pixel art and Perler beads. I'm not familiar with it, but that actually is a very good on board too, Trish.
Welcome, y'all. So for the Perler beads, I was kind of thinking maybe for like merch, we could make little like. Do y'all know what Perler beads are? Yeah, so they're like the little beads that you like iron out and they like turn into like these cute little pixel arts. I think that's perfect for the show. I think it'd be kind of a fun way to do it. So on the other side of front of house, if you can go to the next slide, please. So if you're already thinking like, man, what am I gonna do in October when all of these amazing workshops are done? I'm so sad. There's way more stuff to keep doing and you get to come out and hang out with us even more. And at front of house is really cool because there's a whole assortment of different jobs. So really any personality type, we've got a nice job for you. If you're like super extroverted and you're like, man, I want to talk to every single person that comes into the show, we've got you covered. If you're like, man, I don't want to talk to anybody, I feel you. We'll get you situated. So I want to just take like 30 seconds to go over the different jobs because I think it might be kind of a black box if you're relatively unfamiliar with how front of house works. We have bar, where Pete will be our beautiful bar manager.
Yeah.
Bar sounds scary, but you literally just open cans and pour drinks. So it's not like something that you're like, oh my god, I don't know how to make a dirty martini. You don't have to. Just pour it into a cup and you're fine. We have popcorn, which Eli has helped out with before. We have merch, where you just hand people the shirts. You know, it's not a huge, scary thing. Ushers, we have people literally block doors. That could be your job, just to make people, you know, find their seats and things like that. Tickets and 21 checks, so that's more of like if you're an extrovert, if you love talking to people, that would be a great thing. Also potentially if you're remote and you're like, man, I would just hate to be around people that much, we might even have jobs for you for that. So there's really great, lots of opportunities. So in a month, when you see that, ask. Just be like, God, I can't wait to do that. Wow. So I hope you guys will volunteer with us.
Well, this is going to be a bunch of you just pointing at people now.
Yeah.
So, a couple things that may or may not need help now, may or may not need it later. Sound design, there you are.
Hey.
If anyone helps make beep boops.
Beep boop.
Beep boop. Beep boop. Audio, we got Nick in audio over there. If you want to help set up mics, that kind of stuff, once we get to the venue, that will be appreciated. We're probably going to tell you just to like sit tight until then, but definitely get on Slack and like get ready. Similar thing with lighting, Chris, Bill. Then other general tech, Aaron, where'd Aaron go? There. Aaron's back there.
Yeah.
Aaron is our technical director for the show, and then crew, we got Lucas hiding in the corner over there. Yeah, so all that kind of stuff, if that's your jam, those are the people to talk to. If that was overwhelming, just get on Slack and it'll come to you. Cool, here's our workshop schedule. Yeah, this will be posted all over Slack, etc. But like, if you want to take a picture, feel free. Some of the departments I think might add more as we go. I think we're kind of waiting to see what volunteers' availability is like, that kind of thing. That's the start. BitCrush Week, we got this coming week. That's when all these start. We got a couple like specific things scheduled. As we go on from this week, it's probably going to be like a little less scheduled, a little bit more just like, what do we need to do? But just to get us started, that's what we got. And I don't know if this works, but if you're not on Slack, try that. And if not, that link does work. That's mostly it. So thank you for coming. We're gonna, real quick, once this is done, we're gonna take a picture of everyone, a family photo. We like to do that for every big volunteer meeting. And then, yeah, you guys can talk to design leads. If you want a tour of HQ, we'll do that in like 5 minutes or so, 4:10 maybe. Yeah, cool. Family photo. Okay. Everyone, push everyone to like. Get close. Yes.
Oh, God.
Hey guys, if you're in the back, come to the seats in front.
Yep.
There's like a weird gap.
Private bar.
Yeah.
I think we're good. Yeah, we got all the seats.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? House jobs? I do have an interview scheduled. Sick. But I do hope you show. Yeah.
Okay, great. We'll go. We got put the timer on. And we're gonna be. Let's go. Let's take another. Wait.
Check it.
One more. Okay, someone's in it. There's human faces. Okay, we're gonna do one more. Yeah. Once again. Now we can. Now we can tell it's fantasy again. Alright. That.
Oh.
Yay! That's good enough.
Good enough. Good enough. Good
That's the motto for the whole show. Let's go.
Try it.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, fuck it.
Tell us that show.